Rama, 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 Hare Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare.
Hi Krishna, everybody. Welcome to Youth Jam. Am I audible?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hi Krishna. Hi. It's good to see all of you this week. We'll probably have a shorter session than usual, as I also have to leave, and a lot of the other Youth Jam team are currently celebrating His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu's wife, Her Grace Nirkula Mataji's birthday in ISV. So we all wish her a very happy birthday. But before we get started, we'll do our usual. We'll offer a prayer. So would anyone like to nominate someone to do the prayer for today? If not, I will nominate Haridas.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Dear Shri Radha Madan Mohan, if you so desire, please make everyone who joined UCHAM, please make them serve you forever, lovingly, on the path of bhakti. Please consider our request. Hare Krishna.
Done. Thank you so much for such a sweet and short, simple prayer. All right. So I believe we're going to start with some Chad, so chapter of Bhagavad Gita recitation. So right now we're currently doing chapter 9. I'll just pull this up and all right. If you'd like to recite if you'd like to recite the Sanskrit, you can go ahead and raise your hand and we can do, say, 10 verses each. And then at the end, we can all raise our hands again and read the translation in turn. So if you'd like to recite the verses, raise your hand and then we can go from there. But I'll get us started with the first 10. You're welcome to recite behind muted mics. All right. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshami anasuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajnatva mokshase shubhat rajavidya rajaguhyam pavitram idamuttamam pratyakshavagaman dharmyam susukham kartumavyayam ashradhana purusha dharmasyasya parantapa अप्राप्य मां निवर्तन्ते मृत्युसंसारवर्त्मनि मया ततमिदं सर्वं जगद् अव्यक्तमूर्तिना मत्स्थानि सर्वभूतानि न चाहं तेष्वस्थिता न च मत्स्थानि भूतानि पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम् भूतभृन्न च भूतस्थो ममात्मा भूतभावन यथाकाशस्थितो नित्यं वायु सर्वत्र गो महान् तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि मत्स्थानीत्युपधारय सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकां कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पदौ विसृजाम्यहम् प्रकृतिं स्वामवष्टभ्य विसृजामि पुनः पुनः भूतग्रामम् इमं कृत्स्नम् अवशं प्रकृतेर्वशात् न च मां तानि कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय उदासीनवदासीनम् असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु मयाध्यक्षेण प्रकृति सूयते सचराचरम् हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय जगद्विपरिवर्तते. Would anyone like to recite? Mayuri, go ahead.
I'll try my best. Avajananti mamura manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mamabhuta maheshwaram Mogasha moga karmano moga jnana vichetasa rakshashim asurim chaiva prakritim mohinim shita महात्मानस्तु मां पार्थ दैवीं प्रकृतिमाश्रिता भजन्ति अनन्यमनसो ज्ञात्वा मां ज्ञात्वा भूतादिमव्ययम् सततं कीर्तयन्तो मां यतन्तश्च दृढव्रताः नामश्यन्तश्च मां भक्त्या नित्ययुक्ता उपासते ज्ञानयज्ञेन चाप्यन्ये यजन्तो माम् उपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतो मुखम् अहं क्रतुरहं यज्ञः स्वदाहम् अहम् औषधं मन्त्रोऽहम् अहम् एवज्यम् अहम् अग्निरहं हुतम् पिताहमस्य जगतो माता दाता पितामहः वेद्यं पवित्रमोङ्कार ऋक्साम यजुरेव च गतिर्भर्ता प्रभुः साक्षी निवास शरणं सुहृत् प्रभाव प्रलयस्थानं निधानं बीजमव्ययम् तपाम्यहम् अहं वर्षं निग्रहण्यं य उत्सृजाम्य च अमृतं चैव मृत्युश्च सदश्च चाहमर्जुन त्रैविध्यमां सोमपापुता यज्ञयिष्ट्वा स्वर्गतिं प्रार्थयन्ते ते पुण्यमासाद्य सुरेन्द्रलोकम् अश्नन्ति दिव्यान् दिवि देवभोगान्. Hey, Bull.
Thank you, Mayuri. Haridas, go ahead.
ते तं भुक्त्वा स्वर्गलोकं विशालं क्षीणे पुण्ये मर्त्यलोकं विशन्ति एवं त्रयी धर्मम् अनुप्रापन्ना गतागतं कामकामा लभन्ते अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जनाः पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम् येऽप्यन्यदेवता भक्ता यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विता तेऽपि माम् एव कौन्तेय यजन्त्यविधिपूर्वकम् अहं हि सर्वयज्ञानां भोक्ता च प्रभुरेव च न तु मामभिजानाति तत्त्वेनातश्चयन्ति ते यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रता भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्य यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम् पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मना यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम् शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्षसे कर्मबन्धने सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि समूहं सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेषोऽस्ति न प्रिया ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम् अपि चेत् सुदुराचारो भजन्ते मामनन्यभाक् साधुरेव समन्तव्य सम्यग् व्यवसितो हि स
Thank you, very nice. Manhar, go ahead.
Okay. Ashapram bhavati dharmatma saswaj chantim nigacchati kantaya pratijanihi name bhaktaya panashyati mam hi partha vyapashritya yeapi syu papayonah striyo vaishyas tatha shudras teapi yanti param gatim किं पुनर्ब्रह्मणा पुण्या भक्ता राजर्षयस्तथा अनित्यम् अशुकं लोकम् इमं प्राप्य भजस्व माम् मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजीवा नमस्कुरु माम् एवैष्यसि युक्तैवम् आत्मानं मत्परायणा.
All right. So now we'll go through the translations. If you'd like to read, go ahead and raise your hand. We'll take turns. Nitai, go ahead and you can read the first 5 translations.
Okay, let's see. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me. O conqueror of enemies, therefore they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence, although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am the maintainer of and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation. Manifestation for myself is the very source of creation. Understand that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere rests always in the sky, all created beings rest in me.
Thank you, Nitai.
Yeah, I think I said too much.
That's okay. Mayuri, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again. The whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again, and under my will, it is annihilated at the end. O Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached from these material activities, seated as though neutral. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Fools deride me when I decide in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be.
Thank you. Manhar, go ahead.
Those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demoniac and atheistic views. In that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Others who engaged in sacrifice by the cultivation of others worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second, as diverse in many, and in the universal form. But it is I who am the ritual, I the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendental chant. I am the butter and the fire and the offering.
Thank you, Manhar. Would anyone else like to read? If you've already read before, you can read again as well. Nitai, go ahead.
Okay. I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. I am also the Rig and the Sama and the Yajurvedas. I am the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything. The resting place and the eternal sea. O Arjuna, I give heed and I withhold and send forth the rain. I am immortality, and I am also death personified. Both spirit and matter are in me. Those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly, purified of sinful reactions. They take birth on the pious heavenly planet where they enjoy godly delights. When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death.
Thank you, Nitai. Mayuri, go ahead.
But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way. I am the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors will go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings, and those who worship me will live with me. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it.
And Haridas.
Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. In this way, you will be freed from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me in this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be lower of birth, women, Vaishyas, merchants, and Shudras, workers, can attain the supreme destination. How much more this is so of the righteous Brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me. Engage your mind always in thinking of me, becoming my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me.
Thank you, Haridas. So that completes chapter 9. I thought it'd be really nice to go and read a purport from this chapter. So does anyone have a favorite verse from chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita that they'd like to mention? Mayuri, go ahead.
Patram Pushpam.
Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam. I think how many of you know this verse or at least have heard it before? Okay, cool. So let's go read the purport to this one. I will pull it up. All right. So here's a verse. I'll just read the translation I'll recite the Sanskrit again and the translation, and then we can go through the purport. It's not too long, so. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti uparitam ashnami prayatatmana. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. I'll read the first paragraph, and then if you'd like to read, go ahead and raise your hand and we can take turns reading maybe like one paragraph each. For the intelligent person, it is essential to be in Krishna consciousness, engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, in order to achieve a permanent, blissful abode for eternal happiness. The process of achieving such a marvelous result is very easy and can be attempted even by the poorest of the poor without any kind of qualification. The only qualification required in this connection is to be a pure devotee of the Lord. It does not matter what one is or where one is situated. The process is so easy that even a leaf or a little water or fruit can be offered to the Supreme Lord in genuine love, and the Lord will be pleased to accept it. No one, therefore, can be barred from Krishna consciousness because it is so easy and universal. Who is such a fool that he does not want to be Krishna conscious by this simple method and thus attain the highest perfectional life of eternity, bliss, and knowledge? Krishna wants only loving service and nothing more. Krishna accepts even a little flower from his pure devotee. He does not want any kind of offering from a non devotee. He is not in need of anything from anyone because he is self sufficient, and yet he accepts the offering of his devotee in an exchange of love and affection. To develop Krishna consciousness is the highest perfection of life. Bhakti is mentioned twice in this verse in order to declare more emphatically that bhakti, or devotional service, is the only means to approach Krishna. No other condition, such as becoming a brahmana, a learned scholar, a very rich man, or a great philosopher, can induce Krishna to accept some offering. Without the basic principle of bhakti, nothing can induce the Lord to agree to accept anything from anyone. Bhakti is never causal. The process is eternal. It is direct action in service to the absolute whole. Manhar.
Here Lord Krishna, having established that he is the only enjoyer, the primeval Lord, and the real object of all sacrificial offerings, reveals what types of sacrifices he desires to be offered. If one wishes to engage in devotional service to the Supreme in order to be purified and to reach the goal of life, the transcendental loving service of God, then one should find out what the Lord desires of him. One who loves Krishna will give him whatever he wants, and he avoids offering anything which is undesirable or unasked. Thus meat, fish, and eggs should not be offered to Krishna. If he desired such things as offerings, he would have said so. Instead, he clearly requests that a leaf, fruit, flowers, and water be given to him, and he says of this offering, I will accept it. Therefore, we should understand that he will not accept meat, fish, and eggs. Vegetables, grains, fruits, milk, and water are the proper foods for human beings and are prescribed by Lord Krishna himself. Whatever else we eat cannot be offered to him, since he will not accept it. Thus, we cannot be acting on the level of loving devotion if we offer such foods.
Thank you, Manhar. Nitai, go ahead.
Okay. In the chapter verse 13, Sri Krishna explains that only the remains of sacrifice are purified and fit for consumption for those who are seeking advancement in life and release from the clutches of the material entanglement. Those who do not make an offering of their food, he says in the same verse, are eating only sin. In other words, their every mouthful is simply deepening their involvement in the complexities of material nature, but preparing rice, simple vegetables dishes, offering them before the picture or deity of Krishna, Lord Krishna, and bowing down and praying for him to accept such a humble offering enable one to advance steadily in life. To purify the body and to create fine brain tissue which will lead to clear thinking. Above all, the offering should be made with an attitude of love. Krishna has no need of food since he already possesses everything that be. Yet he'll accept the offering of one who desires to please him in that way. The important element in preparation, in serving, and in offering is to act with love for Krishna.
Thank you, Nitai. And Mayuri, go ahead.
The impersonalist philosophers who wish to maintain that the absolute truth is without senses cannot comprehend this verse of Bhagavad Gita. To them, it is either a metaphor or a proof of the mundane character of Krishna, the speaker of the Bhagavad Gita. But in actuality, Krishna, the Supreme Godhead, has senses, and it is stated that his senses are interchangeable. In other words, one sense can perform the function of any other. This is what it means to say that Krishna is absolute. Lacking senses, he could hardly be considered full in all opulences. In the seventh chapter, Krishna has explained that he impregnates the living entities into material nature. This is done by his looking upon the material nature. So in this instance, Krishna's hearing the devotees' words of love and offering foodstuffs is wholly identical with his eating and actually tasting. This point should be emphasized. Because of his absolute position, his hearing is wholly identical with his eating and tasting. Only the devotees who accepts Krishna as he describes himself without interpretation can understand what the supreme absolute truth can eat food and enjoy it.
Thank you for reading. All right. So, anything that stood out to anyone in this particular purport that they really liked? Something that, as we were reading it, you thought that's a really awesome point, or maybe it reminded you of something. Mayuri, go ahead.
I like how he phrased the first paragraph, like it was really nice, like said. And also in the last paragraph, I liked how Srila Prabhupada was using this verse to prove that Krishna is not just like Brahman and that he has a form and that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and to prove that he has a form.
Yeah, that's a really great point. Especially like I was thinking about the same thing, the second point you made about the last paragraph, that Srila Prabhupada laid out a really clear evidence, especially with this verse, that Krishna has a form. So yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Haridas, go ahead.
I was thinking it was kind of important how Prabhupada pointed out that only intelligent people can, in people who serve Krishna are intelligent, and not just that if you have some scholar, if you have some degree in something, it doesn't mean that you are great. So, so many people like they think that I'm intelligent, I don't need to learn anything else. This is enough for me. So, but then they don't really know that they are not being intelligent when they're speaking like that, and that only when they're Krishna conscious they really become intelligent.
That's a really great point. Um, Even within like generally when people talk about intelligence, people talk about different types of intelligence, right? There's like something called street smart, which means that you just know how the world works, versus like academic or scholarly smart or intelligence, which is like knowing books and a lot of facts and information. So even with that kind of intelligence, you'll see that people have different opinions on which intelligence is better than the other. But clearly, spiritual intelligence is the best because it helps you attain the ultimate goal of life, as Srila Prabhupada was saying. And as you were just mentioning, like it's just so much more important. And people might think that they're really intelligent in one way, but true intelligence comes from spiritual intelligence. Thank you for sharing that. I wanted to share this point that really stuck out to me at the very, very end, which is that I used to think that when you go offer the bhoga to the deity or to Lord Krishna, usually I used to think that, oh, like I understood the point that Krishna's senses are interchangeable and that, if you like, essentially, if you offer it to him, he can still taste it even then. But I thought it was because he was seeing the offering. Usually I thought it was, okay, Krishna's seeing it, that is equivalent to him eating it. But actually, Srila Prabhupada makes a point here where it's actually Krishna hearing the devotee words of love. So when you're actually chanting the mantras or you're telling Krishna, like, oh, please accept this humble offering, it's actually the words that you're saying with love. That's what Krishna is actually using to eat and taste the prasadam. So I thought that was um, a really sweet point. Mayuri, You were the one to say that this was your favorite verse. Do you have any reasoning for why it's your favorite verse?
I learned this when I was really young, and we usually um whenever I offer like tulsi or anything to the Lord, I also end it with this verse to ask
Mhm.
Krishna to or our deities to accept the offering or the bhoga.
That's really nice. That's kind of just a part of your
Mm-hmm.
like routine. That's really
And I
nice.
and I really like the purport too. So
Mhm. Thank you for sharing it, and thank you for picking this verse as well. Did anyone else want to make any comments or reflections? If not, I have two options for everyone. So, with the remaining amount of time we have, which is about 10 to 15 minutes, we could either go reach some of Shil Prabhupada's Lilamrita, or we can chant around together. So, it's kind of up to you guys what you'd like to do. Um, does anyone have a strong inclination towards one over the other? You can just unmute and shout it out. Mayuri, go ahead.
Lilamrita.
And do Lilamrita? Okay, let's do that. Everyone good with that? All right. So we'll just do some more reading of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. So this is where we left off from last time. Same as usual, if you'd like to read, go ahead and raise your hand and then we can get started. I think we can read about 2 paragraphs each and we'll go on until I say 3:45. Let's do that, or around there. Nitai, go ahead.
Okay. He sometimes wondered how Westerners who were so far removed from the Vedic culture could adopt it. They were meat eaters. Yes, when one of his godbrothers had gone to England, the Marquis of Zetland, on hearing the against sinful life, had laughed scornfully. Impossible. But Bhagavatam spoke for itself. Sri Krishna, the personal, Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is also Paramatma in everyone's heart, and the ben, benefactor of the truthful devotee, does cleanse the desire for material enjoyment in the heart of the devotees who has developed the urge for hearing his Krishna's messages, which are themselves virtues when properly heard and chanted. Heard and chanted. Oh, wait, yeah.
Thank you, Nitai. Would anyone like to read? I'll go ahead and read the next few paragraphs. But if you'd like to read, go ahead and raise your hand. Although he was known as an English preacher, Bhaktivedanta Swami knew that there were always faults in his presentation in that foreign language, and there was no editor to correct them. But such technical faults would not keep him from printing Srimad Bhagavatam. This idea was also presented in the opening chapters of the Bhagavatam. Quote, the literature, which is full with description of transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, pastimes, etc., of the unlimited Supreme Lord, is a different creation of transcendental vocabulary, all meant for bringing about a revolution in the impious life of a misdirected civilization of the world. Such transcendental literatures, even though irregularly composed, is heard, sung, and accepted by the purified men who are thoroughly honest. Bhaktivedanta Swami wrote in his purport, we know that in our honest attempt for presenting this great literature, conveying transcendental message, for reviving the God consciousness of the people in general, as a matter of re-spiritualization of the world atmosphere, is fraught with many difficulties. Our capacity of presenting the matter in adequate language, especially a foreign language, will certainly fail, and there may be so many literary discrepancies in spite of our honest attempt to present it in the proper way. But we are sure that with all our faults in this connection, the seriousness of the subject matter will be taken into consideration, and the leaders of the society will still accept this on account of its being an honest attempt for glorifying the Almighty Great, so much now badly needed. When there is a fire in the house, the inmates of the house go out for help from the neighbors who may be foreigners to such inmates, and yet without any adequate language, the victims of the fire express themselves, and the neighbors understand the need even though not expressed in adequate language. The same spirit of cooperation is needed in the matter of broadcasting this transcendental message of the Srimad Bhagavatam throughout the whole polluted atmosphere of the present day world situation. After all, it is a technical science of spiritual values, and as such, we are concerned with the techniques and not with the language. If the techniques of this great literature are understood by the people of the world, there is the success. Nitai, go ahead.
Certainly, Kali Yuga was such an emergency. The house was on fire. Honest men could understand the need would welcome Srimad Bhagavatam, even though it was now being presented with so many faulty and broken links. Technicalities. Bhaktivedanta Swami was presenting Srimad Bhagavatam unchanged with the greatest respect for Srila Vyasadeva. And that was his cardinal virtue. He was adding his own realizations, but not in a spirit of trying to surpass the previous spiritual masters in the all-important matter of presenting the subject strictly in Parampara. Bhaktivedanta Swami suffered from no faulty and broken technicalities. He knew that without the the Bhagavatam purport would have no value. Day and night he typed at his desk beneath the small adjustable light that dangled from the ceiling on its cord. He sat on a thin mat, his back to the large pyramid that stood oddly upright within the bare room. Pages accumulated and he kept them in place with stones, food and sleep. Although necessary were only incidental. He was completely convinced that his Srimad Bhagavatam would create a revolution in a misdirected civilization. Thus, he translated each word and gave each purport with exacting care and concentration. But it had to be done as quickly as possible. In February of 1961, on Vyasa Puja Day, the anniversary of the appearance of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Vedanta Swami was again in Vrindavan. In honor of the spiritual master, some of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta's disciples had offered flowers before his picture and held congregational chanting in the temple. But Bhaktivedanta Swami thought that they should be doing much more than that. They should be planning and executing the worldwide preaching mission that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati had desired. Instead, they were a gathering of independent individuals, each with his own small idea, each maintaining a small center or living at a center, but with no world programs, not even a program for India. Most of them had no plans or vision beyond their own bodily maintenance. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati had asked for a governing body to conduct his movement, but there was no governing body. And practically, there was no movement. Some who had fought bitterly were again on speaking terms and feared that any sudden organizational attempts now might simply stir up old animosities. At, at least they could gather together and make an offering to their spiritual master.
Thank you, Nitai. Mayuri, go ahead.
Amongst his godbrothers, Bhaktivedanta Swami was a junior sannyasi. Although a recognized writer and editor, he had no temple or followers. Yet he knew he was trying to follow Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. He saw himself helpless and alone against the vast forces of Maya. His godbrothers were not an army united against Maya's forces, but were like apathetic monks, growing old, holding on to religious principles and rituals devoid of life. How could they gather to worship their spiritual master without distressfully admitting their failure and, in the spirit of better late than never, trying to rectify it? Since the custom on Vyasa Puja Day was for each disciple to write an offering glorifying his spiritual master and to share it within the assembly of godbrothers, Bhaktivedanta Swami wrote an offering, more like an explosion than a eulogy, and humbly placed it before his godbrothers for their response. Even now, my godbrothers, you return here on the order of our master, and together we engage in this puja. But simply a festival of flowers and fruits does not constitute worship. The one who serves the message of the Guru really worships him. Oh, shame, my dear brothers! Aren't you embarrassed? In the manner of businessmen, you increase your disciples. Our master said to preach. Let the neophytes remain inside the temples and simply ring the bells. But just take a good look at the terrible situation that has arisen. Everyone has become a sense enjoyer and has given up preaching. From the seas across the earth penetrate the universal shell. Come together and preach this Krishna consciousness. Then our master's service will be in proper order. Make your promise today. Give up all your politics and diplomacy. If the Never mind.
Thank you, Mayuri. Kailas, go ahead.
If the disciples of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati could join and preach together, there was every chance that they could create a spiritual revolution within the sinful world. That had been the hope of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, and Bhakti Vedanta Swami expressed that hope in his Vyasa Puja offering. When will that day come when a temple will be established in every house in every corner of the world? When will the High Court be a Gaudiya Vaishnava with tilak beautifully decorating his forehead? When will a Vaishnava winning votes be elected president of the land and preaching be spread everywhere? As he read the poem, its truth exploded in the midst of a gathering of aging sannyasis. Some approved and some were incensed. The meeting, however, took no new direction. They did not sit down together and plan as had pleaded. Swami Maharaj's poem was taken as another poetic expression or as an opinion. The God brothers were inclined to let the old wounds heal with the passing time, to go back over the whole thing again and reconstruct the mission as it had been before when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati was present, and to attempt all those ambitious programs. How was it possible? They were getting old. Some did not want to leave the shelter of Vrindavan. They would worship Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati within the holy Ram. If Bhakti Vedanta Swami could do something more, let him go ahead and try.
Right. Thank you, Haridas. Thank you to everyone who read. So this is going to be the end of our program. We'll actually conclude with a short reflection session. So if you had anything to share from your experiences in the past week, past day, however, whatever amount of time, if you have anything to share, go ahead and share it. We'd love to hear any reflections or thoughts you have. Nitai, go ahead.
In the powerful dynamics you were reading, I liked it how Prabhupada was comparing the name, like he was saying that the like we are in fire, like the neighboring people when it's when their house is in fire, they'll ask their neighbors for help. So like that, he was comparing the material world like that. He was saying we are in the fire like that, like we are in the house of fire like that.
Yeah, that was a really nice analogy that Srila Prabhupada made. It's really, I think there was an additional part where he was saying that even if you don't know the language, right? Let's say your neighbors speak a different language, you speak a different language, but if there's a fire and you run outside and try to explain something to them, they will still understand what's happening. So in that way, Krishna consciousness is so urgent that yes, Nitai, as you were saying, the material world is like a fire. And so Krishna consciousness, no matter what language, will still be understood by all people. So, and you can see that even now, right? There's so many devotees in all parts of the world. So that's a great point. Thank you for sharing that, Nitai. Any other thoughts from Srila Prabhupada's Limamrita reading or the Bhagavad Gita we read, the verse? Nitai, go ahead.
I got to share this point where, like uh in like that was Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Krishna says, just offer me a leaf, if water, fruit, and flower, and I'll be satisfied. Like he's not asking for any nature thing, and he's giving us everything almost. Like everything he's giving, and he's asking for only a leaf, flower, and fruit and water. So I feel it amazing that he's giving us everything and he's only asking that much from us.
That's an awesome point. Gratitude is so important, right? Krishna's giving us everything, like you were saying, Nitai, and all he's asking for in return is some love. So even if whatever we offered, so even something as simple as the fruit or flower or water or leaf, if it's done with love, Krishna loves that. That is what he accepts. Thank you. Mayuri, go ahead.
I like how Srila Prabhupada was so passionate and he was really trying to get the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's old, like his godbrothers, to like come back together and to preach. And he had such a big dream and he was so determined. But like even like I think he did the Jhansi thing, but like the League of Devotees before this. And he even then he was also trying very hard, but it didn't succeed. And like that, there were so many reversals that he had to face. Um, Even before he had to go to America, before he went to America. But even though there were so many problems and reversals and setbacks, he still was determined and he still wanted to preach. And he still had a dream that like it would spread across the world. And like the Srimad Bhagavatam, like it was saying like how he was like every single day he was working day and night just to like translate the Srimad Bhagavatam and how much work he was putting into it. And then whenever we're reading like the Bhagavad Gita verse, we see like how well versed that was, like the purport, and how much time and care it must have taken to make the synonyms and like purports and translations, because essentially the purports are just like an entire summary of all the commentaries previously written by the um acharyas. So like it must have taken him a lot of work to do that and do all the translating and writing books. But he was still very determined because he had his dream. And even though he had all these reversals, like the League of Devotees, and trying to, and his godbrothers not cooperating, he still had the dream to do it and to preach and follow his guru's, his spiritual master's desire.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's such an important point because I think it's often overlooked exactly. That part of Srila Prabhupada's life is often like left in obscurity. Unless you read Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita, you don't always hear about exactly how much struggle he actually went through. Um, but from reading this, I know for myself, I know that I've actually learned to appreciate the amount of work, as you were saying, Mayuri, like the amount of work that Srila Prabhupada put into this, and also like his dedication. Same thing you were saying, that he was trying so many things that he kept trying, and so many obstacles, and despite all of that, he just kept persevering because he had so much faith in his Guru Maharaj and Lord Krishna. So I think that's such a great example for even us in, even as students, because as students, our duty is to study and to do well in school. But even as we get older, whatever those responsibilities are, we should persevere with the same attitude of this is for service, or this is in service of Krishna. So regardless of what obstacle comes, I will do my best. So I think that's a really, really awesome point that you just shared, Mayuri. Thank you. Haridas, go ahead.
I was going to say that it was like how Prabhupada he used to follow whatever Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said even after even if he was the only one who was doing it, even after Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur left this world, still Prabhupada had the strength to continue and to fulfill the order of the Guru. He would not give that up. It was like the main thing that was driving him basically.
Yeah. I think what's it called? The Guru Nishta, like having so much faith in the Guru, right? That it keeps driving you. Yeah. It's a really admirable quality of Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for bringing that up. All right. Any last thoughts from anyone? We're gonna close the room here in a little bit. If there are none, all right. So we will end today with a little prayer. Um, I'll just do the prayer for today. So, dear Shishini Shingadev, Shri Prahlad Maharaj, we so desire, please protect us through whatever obstacles that come our way and give us the strength to overcome those obstacles in our path to bhakti, so that we can perform our responsibilities and our services with all the love that we can give to Lord Krishna, and remembering that he is always there for us. Thank you for considering this request, Hare Krishna. As Vaisheshika Prabhu always ends, if you agree with this prayer in whole or in part, please unmute and say Hare Krishna.
Hey Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna. All right, see you all next week. Thank you
Hare
for joining.